Welcome to Bollywood to Hollywood with Rao Rampilla. Today is a very special day. There is a film festival. It's called Dalit Film and Cultural Film Festival. For the first time, Dalits, known also as untouchables, have a film festival in the history of the world. And it's going to be at the Columbia University and New School. I have a special guest to talk about it on this show. Here is Jayshree. Hi, Jayshree.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You are a professor of English, and you are also an artist in a different way.
Yeah, I'm an English professor. I work for LaGuardia Community College at the City University of New York, and my primary area is popular culture, and I do study Indian cinema as well.
So how a professor from the university or community college get involved in this Dalit Film Cultural Festival?
So when I came to New York, I met a group of folks who are part of the Ambedkar International Mission organization. And this is a group of folks who are committed to the work of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who is the founder of the Constitutional Assembly, the head of the Constitutional Assembly of India when India became independent. And we're committed to his work of social justice and social uplift. And once I became involved with that group, in the more recent years, part of this idea of having a film festival and having a cultural festival that would showcase the work of Dalit artists came into play, primarily because of the initiative of Dr. Suraj Yengre, who's a fellow at Harvard at the moment. And so I've been helping the organizing committee of the film festival with getting this off the ground.
Okay, let's take one thing at a time. So Dr. Ambedkar, who also went to Columbia University,
Indeed.
and who was actually is the chairman of the Constituent Assembly that wrote the Indian Constitution.
Correct.
So he is a Dalit.
Correct.
I mean, he's late Ambedkar. So he was also the law minister.
Correct.
Of India, I think first law minister, if I'm
right.
correct. So, but he belongs to the Dalit community.
That's correct. So Dalit is a term that started to be used in the 20th century for the community in India that was erstwhile known as untouchables. So people who are familiar with the caste system, that was the organizing principle of Hinduism, both in India and other parts of South Asia, have this group which was essentially considered outside, or the outcasts of society. And Dalit is a term that has been used to sort of reclaim an identity that is not based on negativity, that's based on being empowered and being sort of trying to unify people in order to feel like there is something positive that is coming out of the community.
So I gather Dalits are like 300 million. So almost 1/3 population of India.
Of India, yeah.
And they are still being looked down and put down by the caste system. So how and they never had any film festival.
That's correct.
But are they treated equally in the Bollywood or in the film scene or the art scene in India?
That's a great question. So part of the reason that the film festival and the film culture festival has been established is to try to correct some of those issues. So the social life of the community in India is troubled. It's improving, but it's troubled. And part of what we see is that the artistic work of the community does not always get the space that it deserves. So the film festival and the culture festival was set up with the idea that we wanted to, show the lives of Dalit people, because that's not always given space in these cultural spaces. And we want to make sure that we open up a dialogue about do we have diverse representation of all of India's communities in our
You
cinema?
mean the Bollywood is upper caste people?
Bollywood is certainly one dominant strain in Indian cinema. So Bollywood is a term that often gets used as if it's synonymous with all of Indian cinema, but it is dominant even though it's actually the cinema that comes out of Bombay and is Hindi language, which is only one tiny part of all
every
of Indian
state has
cinema.
one
and
word.
every state has regional
But mostly
cinema.
it is dominated by the
Certainly.
upper caste
It has
Hindus.
what academics would call hegemonic status in the world. That's what people think of when they think of Indian
But
cinema.
traditionally, besides cinema, the fine arts, dance, music, and other forms of arts and literature, it's all being dominated by upper caste Hindus.
There has traditionally been that way of structuring a lot of the art forms. This was not always the case, but more and more we have seen in the last several hundred years that has become the issue.
Well, I grew up in India. Historically, if you are an untouchable, you are not allowed
Absolutely.
to. So it is all the Brahmins and the upper caste people who get trained in classical dance and in music,
Right.
Things like that.
Right. Yeah.
So that has the bearings on this 1/3 of the population
Absolutely.
participating
Yeah.
in the overall cultural scene,
Yeah.
the artistic scene.
You're absolutely right.
So that eventually reflects in what is being, who is being represented and who is being shown in Bollywood and other different states, different woods.
Yes.
I call it different woods.
Yes, absolutely.
We have 24 or 25 woods.
Yes, yes.
Each language.
Yes.
So that's the question probably already answered. Why Dalit Festival? So that may be the reason. Why now?
I think we're getting to a point where there are filmmakers in India who identify as Ambedkarites, who are either from the Dalit community or who are allies to the Dalit community, who are starting to make films and who are starting to sort of be more determined to have these lives and these voices expressed through various art forms.
When you say these voices, is it just social justice issues or also just culture?
Yes.
Art is fun.
Yes, absolutely. I think a lot of it is about showing culture. It's about entertainment. It's about showing various facets of a person's life and a community's life. It's not always just about making some kind of sort of legal argument through the art
So this
form.
festival is not about complaining. It's about
Absolutely.
exposing the cultural nuances.
Definitely. There is a whole lot of pleasure and joy that we want to show that is not traditionally associated with the community, that when Dalits are often shown in different art forms, when people do bother to show them, they're often shown as if, oh, here's this sad thing that's happening that's associated with
Because
this.
I remember when I was a kid in India growing up, whenever there is a funeral function or a marriage ceremony, so there are drummers who are from the Dalit community.
Right.
And there are also, at the marriage, people play different instrument, musicals. They're from Dalit community. But ironically, when the dancers come, it's the upper caste, classical dancing, Bharatanatyam, Kathakali, and also certain instruments like sitar.
Right.
I don't know, North India it is a little more different than South India.
Sure.
Also Veena, classical music. It's mostly confined with upper caste Hindus, Brahmins.
Yeah, I do
So
think
we
that's
need
been
to
an issue.
bring out, because I remember somebody said, so mind is like a computer. And I know as an artist, I was told by my teacher, the art comes from the right brain, and the math and science comes from the left brain. So brain is a brain, whether you are Dalit
Absolutely.
or you are a upper caste Hindu.
Of course.
So art comes from the subconscious mind. So how can we say the subconscious mind of a Brahmin is superior and can only learn, they only can learn these things, but not the Dalit brain, which is equally the same. It seems like in India and in every other part of the world, people have difficulty accepting or treating another human being equal.
Yes. And that's actually something that we really want to emphasize in the film festival, that this is about India, but this is also about precisely what you just said, about the fight against inequality, which is occurring in every part of the world. And so part of what we want to show is that there is no reason for these kinds of distinctions and hierarchies to exist, that people can create at every stage of their lives and every form. And we want to connect with other people who have experienced these kinds of hierarchical differences, be they because of class, because of race, because of religion, because of gender. And so we are here in this film festival, in this cultural festival, to establish connections with folks who are combined in their desire to allow art to flourish, no matter who the person is that's creating the art.
Art is art, wherever it is.
Yes,
I remember Picasso said, art is what the artist says it is.
Indeed, yes.
So if a Dalit person says it is art, then that is art.
Indeed. And I think what we're additionally trying to do is to create the infrastructure and to institutionalize this kind of event, because an artist can create as much as they want, but if they never get to have an audience, if they never get a platform, it's a waste. And so we're trying to give people those venues, and we're trying to give them the ability to say, here, look at my work. And then for other people that we hope will come and see that, will understand that we have solidarities, right? That this is not just about
not only with African Americans,
with African Americans,
Native Americans,
with
Hispanics,
Hispanics, with Asians,
and also the Caucasians.
Absolutely, because folks have experienced some kind of inequality or injustice, no matter their skin color. And we're trying to sort of create this sort of, as Suraj Yengde would put it, a fourth world project, where we're trying to sort of clasp hands with people.
Well, does art have a color conscience?
Absolutely. I mean, at the very least, I think art participates in trying to have a conversation and a dialogue about what does it mean for us to be in a world that is still marked by color and by caste and by creed.
So, but in the art, we can overcome all these barriers.
Certainly.
But we need certain certain modalities, certain structures.
Yes, exactly.
So that's what this film festival basically facilitates.
Absolutely. As you said, it's the first Dalit Film and Cultural Festival in the world ever.
Well, I know not anything else so far.
Indeed, yeah, as far as we know.
But is this going to be a one-time festival, or is it going to be a recurring one?
So our hope is certainly that it will be recurring. Our hope is that we can institutionalize this practice. We know that this time around, when we sent out the call, we certainly had far more people who wanted to have their work showcased in it than we have room for. So we know that there is a lot of art that's out there that we hope to have room to show in the coming years.
So there is no depth of material?
Absolutely not.
So it can go on and on forever?
We think so. And we hope, of course, that it will provide inspiration to future artists who will want to create art, because they know that there are places and people who are waiting for it.
Oh, that's wonderful. And you are inviting some special guests from India who are filmmakers and artists.
Yes.
And who are they?
We're very excited. So we have Nagraj Manjre, who is a national award-winning filmmaker, and most recently, certainly folks in India and in the diaspora know him for his blockbuster Sairat.
Does a Western audience know him?
I'm not sure yet. I think certainly folks who are invested in art as a cinematic practice know his name. And we're hoping that this will give him even more exposure because we're expecting a wide audience, even from outside of the Indian community here. So he'll be here.
And he is an Ambedkarite?
He is an Ambedkarite. He identifies very closely with the discourses of social justice and the anti-caste struggle in India. And he has been very clear about his position against any kind of injustice, including that of gender inequality.
Oh, what about the other guy?
We also are very, very lucky to have producer and director Paranjit, who has created blockbusters in Tamil cinema, which is one of the regional and extremely popular cinemas that comes out of southern India. His work, Kabali, was very, very popular and sort of took a very explicit stance about
he had a
social
major
justice.
star in that.
Yeah, so Rajnikant, who I would say arguably is the biggest movie star in the world because
in
he has
Bollywood.
in Indian cinema certainly,
Yeah.
and has a massive following, is very popular and has a very unique style. Is featured in Kabali as well as Paranjit's latest blockbuster Kala, which is
So
set
it's
in
a
Bombay.
kind of interesting to have a star in some of these Dalit-related issues film.
Absolutely. We know that the star system allows us a huge reach. It allows us to reach an audience that may otherwise not be possible for certain kinds of plots and certain kinds of narratives. And so it's a huge thing that someone of Rajnikant's stature has been working with Paranjit, and that we get to talk to Paranjit when he comes here. In fact, I've already been getting inquiries from very, very excited fans who especially want to know when Paranjit is attending and when they'll be able to hear him speak.
And you have a Miss India coming as well.
We do. So we're also getting Miss India Earth, Niharika Singh, and she has also been very helpful, and she is very excited.
She's
to
also
be
an
here.
actress?
She is an actress, and she has been raising her voice against other kinds of issues that she sees in the movie industry in India, which are similar to some of the Me Too issues we've seen all across the world.
So besides the showing the films, you'll have an event with these people and others and a gala.
Yes.
So an Indian style red carpet.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, the idea is that we will be screening many of the films as well as the documentaries. And in between some of the screenings, we will have panel discussions with some of our visiting guests. And then on the evening of the 23rd of February, so the film festival is on the 23rd and the 24th of February. And on the evening of the 23rd, there will be a gala dinner in New Jersey, and tickets are available for that on our website at DalitFilmFest.com.
I just have a philosophical question.
Please.
Shouldn't the film festival be relying on the strength of history? I mean, this apartheid system has been since 500 BC, and Lord Buddha fought against it.
Indeed.
And one point of time, all of India in the time of Emperor Ashoka was Buddhist.
Yes.
So there was no caste system at that time. But then it reverted back to caste system.
Right. Yeah.
And there is a great struggle and history.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we focus on the strength of 1/3 population of India and their sufferings and their artistry, rather than few celebrities?
Yeah. I mean, the idea is that the festival is very well rounded. So we're going to have these panel discussions precisely so we can get to some of this history, so people understand the context within which some of these artists have worked. So we want to make sure that this is not just a little flashy show, which is sometimes actually associated with sort of mainstream cinema, both in India as well as in the United States. So we're absolutely going to be talking about that history. We're also going to be doing that through the other kinds of art that we hope to exhibit at on both of those days and at the gala. So there will be Dalit painters, Dalit sculptors, photography, and all of that is a means to having a conversation about what does it mean when such a massive population for so many millennia has been struggling to be treated as human.
I remember in some of the early European theaters, they used to exhibit arts
Yeah.
of the Picasso, or whatever, even the small artists. So it's similar to that one. You're bringing the art and paintings back along with the pictures, which could be the theater.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I think we're trying to see that, or we're trying to show that we have different kinds of mediums through which we can have an excellent sort of mix of both entertainment as well as conversations about social justice.
I forgot to mention that you are part of the organizing committee for this Dalit Film Cultural Festival. And congratulations.
Thank you.
So I'm just wondering, is there anything you can say to outreach Western audience?
I would say that this is going to be an opportunity for people to get to see very different sides of Indian life. And you also get to see excellent filmmaking. So that's part of the thing that is unique, I think, about the festival, is that you're going to see the best of the Indian cinematic tradition, which is very old. I'm not sure most people know this, but we started filmmaking in India when the cameras were invented. And so we have a very old and very proud tradition of filmmaking. But this is also the place where you'll get to see very different elements of filmmaking shown. So this is not the traditional sort of song and dance that people associate with the quote-unquote Bollywood cinema. This has that. It also has extraordinary depth in terms of its filmmakers' understanding of Indian history, its understanding of marginalized people's history, its understanding of how you can show struggle as well as triumph, as well as possibility in the midst of some of the most difficult and draconian social structures that exist anywhere in the world. So I think a Western audience will enjoy it very much because it has so much to offer them.
Well, some of the Western audience does not know the names like Ravidas, or the ancient in the Rama tradition.
Yes.
And also Mirabai.
Yes.
They are Dalits, right?
So there is an interesting philosophical and sort of spiritual tradition that has been a Dalit tradition, right? So these are the sort of artists that you mentioned. So Mirabai actually does get sometimes studied in poetry classes in Western universities, and I've actually been in those classes too. And so there is a very small group of people who is a little bit aware, but most people are not. So we certainly invite folks to come in and sort of be introduced to all of these other sort of streams of thought and streams of art that exist in historical Dalit artists.
And this is open to public.
Yes, it is.
And no money.
Correct.
They don't have to pay. It's one of the few festivals that's public.
Absolutely. All of screenings are free. So the first day, again, will be on the 23rd. We're going to have that at Barnard College at Columbia University. It's free. We'll start probably at like 10 in the morning, and events will go till about 5 in the evening on that first day. People can come in. We hope that they will reserve their seats on our website because we do have limited seating, but it is free. And then on the 24th, the screenings will be at the new school. And again, if you go to our website, and you can just RSVP so that we know you're coming and have seats for everyone.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
To the Bollywood and Hollywood.
My pleasure.
And sharing this wonderful news and information.
Thank you.
And I hope that you will come back next year and the year after.
Thank you for your good wishes.
It just started.
Yes, it's just started, and we're looking forward to having a huge audience this time around. I encourage everyone who has any interest in India, in Indian cinema, in Indian art forms, who is interested in how to create solidarities across different communities to come and join us.
Well, to all those who are watching this show, and to all those who are not also watching this show but heard it from others, you heard from one of the organizers, Jayasree, that this event is going to be in New York City. Well, New York is the capital of the world, you like it or not. And especially at Columbia University and New School, which are prominent institutions that encourage diversity and everything. So come on and go and see the films, participate in the film festival. I hope to see you all at the film festival. Thank you.
This February 23rd and 24th, American Ambedkarites, Columbia University, and the New School in New York are thrilled to bring you the first Dalit Film and Cultural Festival. Join us for a stellar lineup of the best Indian cinema has to offer, a filmmaking tradition grounded in technical brilliance and social justice. Featuring the national award-winning Marathi language film Fandri by Nagraj Manjule, the Tamil blockbuster Kala by Pauranjeet, as well as award-winning documentaries that highlight the art and resilience of South Asia's Dalit community. Screenings at Barnett College and the New School are open to the public. Register at www.DalitFilmFest.com. You can also join the visiting filmmakers and actress and Miss India Earth Niharika Singh for a ticketed gala and dinner with live performances at the Royal Albert Palace in New Jersey on the 23rd. This evening will spotlight the work of painters, sculptors, singers, and literary artists, many of whom are making their international debut. Enjoy the film festival and help us in our mission to showcase the best India has to offer and develop the potential of its next generation of creative thinkers. Your support is our inspiration. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Dalit Film Fest for more information and tickets.